He's not a bat, he's a man who fights crime. And we're gonna watch him fight for a minute at a time. With John and Niall, and I guess you just rhyme with Bat Minute! Hello, and welcome once again to Bat Minute Forever, the podcast where we go into the bowels of Bespin Cloud City. It kind of looks like in this at the start of this minute anyway, with Joel Schumacher's Batman Forever, 1 minute at a time. I am one of the hosts, Niall McGowan.
And here to exploit your Achilles heel, your love of Batman, for downloads, it is I, John Parker.
And we're once again joined by a guest who just off mic admitted that this film is entirely too colourful for her. Super goth at heart, Clarisse Loughrey.
Hello. It's Halloween tomorrow. I'm so excited.
Yes, and my Halloween costume was Selina Kyle, everybody. So it's Batman related. I felt I had to do Selina Kyle because she was the best thing about the last movie, other than the Penguin. It just seemed like an obvious. I wasn't going to do the Penguin. Imagine the cost of doing that. Jesus Christ!
My Halloween costume was Geraldo, the stuffed Chihuahua, which we all know was the actual best thing about the last movie.
That's true. That's true.
It's the team up we deserve. Geraldo and Selina Kyle.
We need that spin-off comic. It's like an odd couple. One's a dog. One's a cat.
Whoa.
I mean, the fact that like one's a dog and one's a cat. Like one's a woman who's like mentally scarred and is dressed up as a cat, and one is a dead dog.
Perfect. Get David Lynch on board. Let's do it.
But yeah, this is minute 16 or minute 18 of Batman.
Yeah,
Forever.
what the hell? Don't do that again.
And it begins again. We're talking a little bit about Star Wars last minute. Again, are we in the bowels of Cloud City here in this shuttle?
With our Rocket Man hero.
Yeah, and it ends a minute later with Chase Meridian sort of chase-splaining Batman's arch nemesis to him. But we'll get to that.
In sexy rooftop lingerie.
Oh yeah,
everyone's favorite lingerie.
That outfit.
What do you make of this character? I mean, we're going to get more into it obviously later in the minute, but people seem very torn on whether they love or hate her. Some people really like how hammy and over the top and just sort of sexual she is, and then other people have been very repulsed by it.
I wasn't repulsed by it because I respect that she has a rubber kink, but that's her entire character.
That is literally it. That's the one note. Yeah.
Woman with rubber kink.
I want to have sex with Batman. That's the...
Yeah, but not even Batman. I feel like it's just the suit.
Yeah. You could argue that because she doesn't like Bruce.
Yeah, and she doesn't really say what she's into about Batman apart from her reaching out to touch his rubber nipple.
Yeah, what is she getting out of that fondle? Because that's not his body. That's molded plastic. That's shaped that way.
I think it is. It's the classic, like, she likes a bad boy. And I think it is just like, I can fix him. Like, maybe she's just got a thing like, oh, he's messed up, but I can fix him. Maybe that's it. But
maybe. I mean, she is a doctor.
Yeah, it could be that she just like, I like mending people mentally so much that it's kind of a kink. And who could be more messed up than Batman? So yeah, of course, I am ready. I am ready for this man.
I feel like I didn't get that. I just got straight rubber fetish. That's it.
I find that much better. It's more amusing.
I don't read anything out of a character at all, and she's also really not intelligent because that riddle was. There's a riddle later on in the movie that's really obvious, and I hate that she doesn't get it.
Oh, now there's pressure on me to get it.
That's exactly. We got a riddle that you guys are supposed to be solving by the end of this minute. So, like,
yeah, I still haven't figured it out, but let's see how that goes.
But she's not a smart woman, and it's like, and he basically tells her that he's Batman, and she's still like, what are you trying to say? I don't. It's like, oh, come on.
Yeah, use your intelligence.
She is good because we talked about like in going through like a whole movie where Vicky Vale was our kind of like point of view character. Like she was the newcomer coming into Gotham, and we kind of saw everything through her eyes, even in scenes, several scenes she's not in and stuff. But like Vicky Vale was a major part of that first movie, and it's like, oh, we got through all the nuance of her character, was a great character, and then of course Selena Kyle, fantastic character in the second movie, like a real woman, and both of them women with real agency. And I guess like Chase Meridian does have agency, I guess, but it's just like aggressive, like I am taking the incentive, I am taking the initiative to go out and bone Batman. And that's my thing. And then everything else about her, she's like, damsel in distress. That's we need somebody.
Hey,
at the
you've
end.
got to respect it, though. She goes after what she wants.
Yeah.
And she gets it.
Yeah. She's Gotta Have It was originally all about Chase Meridian, and then in
it was a
rewrites,
spin-off.
It got...
Oh, my God. I need to see all of these movies from other characters' perspectives. Please. I don't want Joker 2, right? And I liked it. I don't want a Joker 2. Do this.
I just want Chase Meridian, just Nicole Kidman dancing on those steps.
Yeah, yes. That's what we need.
Just going home and caressing a rubber.
I mean, that's what we all do. That's what I do. That's what I'm doing right now.
True.
But we'll say though, like back at the beginning of the minute though, like because we got the tail end of briefly mentioned off mic there, like it's kind of Iron Maiden-ish, but it also kind of looks like a sarcophagus. And I was like, oh, it's because the other movies, Batman was a vampire. Is he like a mummy now? Is that what you're going for, Joel? And he's like, I don't know. I just know Tim liked gothic horror stuff, so I threw in a little sarcophagus-looking kind of thing. And it also looks insanely unsafe. Like it sparks everywhere.
Right, that's my note. Yeah, it's sparking all over the shop. What the hell?
So, wait. The tube goes directly, that's the end of the tube. Or does the tube end somewhere else and then he has to walk a little bit?
I don't think that's the end of the tube. That's
I think it just drops him off immediately at the door.
Yeah, that's not a good idea.
Someone's bound to, at some point, a villain exploit this weakness as well. Because they're going to find it at Wayne Enterprises because of some other plot point. See where it leads, uncover the truth. That would be like a plot in, I don't know, the animated series or something. So any other Batman.
I imagine though it'd be so terrifying if you accidentally discovered this tube thing and it was zooming you through presumably the entirety of Gotham City at like 50,000 miles per hour. You would just be like, the whole time. And then it comes out and you're just surrounded by sparks everywhere and stuff. You'd be freaking the hell out.
And a great way to kill Batman is you just make sure that door's closed.
He's stuck
and then
there.
he gets to the end of the tube, and because he's going 50 million miles per hour, he just explode on a fireball.
Well, actually, that brings up an interesting question. Because I thought, well, if you just lock him in, couldn't he just go back? Can it go back? Or is it a one-use pod? Is he being very unenvironmental? Does he travel to the Batcave and then he has to dispose of the pod?
Yeah, that's a good question, actually. Like, what is the propulsion of the thing? Is it got like engines and stuff in it, or has it been like, is it a giant like air suction vacuum within the cube that's driving it forward, or?
I imagine it's like that thing that Elon Musk built under LA, right? It's
so
like
he stole
that little
something
thing.
from this movie too. Okay.
Exactly.
People keep mining this movie for ideas. Like Joel Schumacher must be just, if he wasn't so busy having sex with so many people, he would have been suing left, right, and center for this.
That's how they got away with it. They just threw people at him.
It's like every time he's going into the court, he just is like, sorry, I just gotta go like bone a couple of people really quick here over here. It's like, damn it, Joel, you missed your court appointment again.
It's actually the most influential film of all time.
Yep, there you go. That's the quote for the back of the box.
There you go. Clarisse Loughrey, the Independent.
There we go.
And like all of a sudden,
To be
you just
fair,
got an angry phone call from Jonathan Ross going, "You stole my back of the VH quote. I was the Batman Forever guy. Now it's you. What the hell's going on?"
To be fair, we've just laid out the case for why that is true.
Yeah.
all week long. That's what we've done. We've proven it. It's a fact, undisputable.
It would have been interesting if like now like you find out that Grimes' whole interest in Elon Musk is a kind of weird Chase Meridian Batman thing. Like, oh, I just love guys who wear like gray hoodies or something.
Oh no.
Well, speaking of clothes, Alfred is at the end of the tube there, waiting to take Bruce's jacket.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Bruce, dude, come on. Don't use this guy as an actual butler. He's proven himself better than that over the years. Come on. Don't make him carry your goddamn coat.
Yeah, but the thing is, that's probably a pretty expensive coat, and if Alfred doesn't take it, it's just going to end up on the floor. Like, he's not going to concede to, like, I should hang it up. Like
personal experience there, yeah?
Yeah, he's very much like, look, even in the background, like, he's got all those cowls and stuff just lying on the table. Like, we've seen in the past movies, those cowls go in a closet. Like, there's a whole bat cowl closet he had in Batman Returns, and now they're just lying out on the table because he just.
Well, it depends though. If he's gonna put it back on, right, anytime soon, because I'm looking across the room, and I've got a shirt and a pair of trousers just on the floor because I'm putting them on tomorrow morning. They're ready to go.
You got
saves time in the
Peter
morning.
Venkman method of like, oh, there's many layers of clean and unclean. Like,
there is.
These socks, hang them outside the window for half an hour, they're as good as new.
You just do the old sniff test, you see.
I'm actually just looking though at the cowls in the background now. That's kind of bizarre because we did have in the last movie, like, oh yeah, he had random like just masks and stuff, and then he had like the whole thing of the symbols on the chest piece, but then on the masks it wasn't. And this one now, it seems as if like they've cut it off at like just underneath the shoulder. Like, that just looks like it's got a bit of the cape on it and everything. Like, what the hell's that? He's like,
they've just took scissors to it.
Yeah, it's literally like, oh, it's a 2-part suit. He puts on his bottoms, and then he literally puts on the entire from the elbows upward. The rest of that is just like a jumper, I guess. And somehow that all stitches together. Like, that's bizarre that they've done it that way. Although it's actually, I'll tell you where it does cut off. It cuts off at the nipple point. That's what's now that this mystery is beginning to unravel right here.
Oh,
those nipples could be a key to something else.
I'm trying to find it now.
Is that how it closes? The nipples are like a little lock.
Oh, there you go. That's it.
Oh, we've uncovered it. There's a whole purpose of these things.
The practical reason for them the whole time. It's like Joel Schumacher's just out there going, they're lock nipples. That's what people can see that a mile away.
Like those little pop things you get for closing jackets.
Yes, you pop it onto the nipple. So does he need to keep the nipples cold?
Don't know.
So, you need to get purchase.
Or if they get cold, will they not just pop off then? Like if his actual nipples underneath the suit stand to attention, will the whole top of the suit just come flying off him now?
Oh my God. These are questions that need answering. I'm going to write a letter to DC. I'm saying this needs to be, sorted out once and for all.
I will actually say though, I do, because we've not actually talked about the nipples on the suit, really. Like, we've dodged about it and stuff, but like I do, like, because we get to see later on in this minute, there's a flat out shot of them. Like, it's the first time we go, like, there they are. That's the infamous bat nipples.
Look at them.
And I do have, like, even at the time, like, I thought, you might have thought, like, oh, maybe this was, like, years later people were ripping on the nipples in the bat suit. But no, in 1995, it was getting brought up at the time. And apparently in an issue of Premiere magazine, Jim Carrey was talking about it. And he said, apparently Bob Kane himself, creator of Batman, or co-creator of Batman, more likely. But apparently, because he was on set for this movie, like, pretty much every day. Like, him and Joel Schumacher were joined at the hip. And apparently Jim Carrey saying, like, oh yeah, he just see Bob Kane wander around set going, like, why did he put nipples on the batsuit? Who puts nipples on a batsuit? I never put nipples on a batsuit. And then,
it's an excellent point.
Yeah. And then in response to this, in the same article, Joel Schumacher said, Bob Kane doesn't understand why Chris O'Donnell has an earring and why Batman has nipples. I told him, Bob, it's the 90s, Bob. Pumped up. And then
Pumped up nipples?
yeah, but I think he's just talking about things getting pumped up for the 90s, really.
Yeah. Well, the earring is peak 90s.
Oh, yeah. Oh, for sure.
On Nipples peak 90s?
Well, I don't know. I mean, nipple rings, maybe?
Is that the golden age of nipples?
Never again will we live in such an age.
Joel Schumacher, like, he tried to explain the entirety of the suit. And again, for, you know, we're going to have to keep bringing it up. For the guy who claimed to have sex with so many people, his quote was, I wanted a very sexy, very sensual, very body-hugging suit. It's my Gotham City, and if I want Batman to have nipples, he's going to have nipples. There's a quote from 1995 from Joel Schumacher. And then he said, I can't understand why nipples on a man would be such a shocking thing. And then production designer Barbara Ling said, like, oh, yeah, the idea was to go for an anatomical kind of look. So I think the whole thing was supposed to be, like, Joel Schumacher wanted it to be, like, really based on beauty and stuff. And apparently based it on the whole suit's based on Greek statues and things like that, which you do see throughout Gotham as well, like huge, big, muscular statues of guys. And, of course, the giant Lady Gotham statue from the beginning of the movie.
But she wasn't muscular enough.
Yeah.
Also, the Greeks weren't looking at the nipples. We're talking about Greek statues. It's not the defining feature of Greek statues of the nipples. I don't think it's not that they're shocking. It's just that, like, I don't look at them, I'm like, oh, nipples. It's just that it's weird to just have the nipples.
It's
on
kind of
the batsuit. That's the thing.
What purpose does it serve?
Yeah.
looks like he did have, like, in the 89 movie, he did have, like, kind of sculpted abs and stuff on the bat suit. And I kind of get the concept, like, well, I would have interpreted the nipples as being like, he wants to appear to be like a Batman, like the cloud in the mind of criminals, whether he is human or part bat and all this kind of stuff.
So he has man nipples.
So he has
nipples
on the suit to be like, oh, mate, is it part
Bat
of his
nipples.
Yeah. Oh, just little bat-shaped nipples and stuff.
Yeah, but then where's, like, the bat dick? If he's trying to be a Batman,
This is
the
fascinating. but
illusion stops.
This is the second time a bat's genitals has been brought up on this show.
It's just that's what I don't get about it. If it's the illusion of nudity, you've only done half of it.
Yeah, we
That's
want
what I
the
don't
works.
understand.
You never know. Joel Schumacher's been like, you don't want to know how many conversations I had pitching and praying that they were going to allow me to put that bat dick in. And they're just, no, Joel, no.
At the very least, his nethers need a merkin. I want to see Bush.
Well, yeah, whatever, or like, I don't know what a bat has, but
We
You
looked into
don't
it
want to
once.
Google it, let me tell you from last time.
Maybe
Maybe you should Google it. Let's have this round 2.
oh no, I'm scared. I won't do it.
it's horrifying.
Although weirdly, that's another thing. Apparently on set, this was referred to, this version of the Batsuit was referred to as the Panther suit. Because later on he has the sonar suit. And then you think you'd just call this like Batsuit Mach 1 or whatever. But like, why a panther? Like, are they like, oh yeah, like sensual and sexual, like a panther.
Yeah, I think that is what it is.
Yeah, that's just like, well, he's not Panther Man. Like, he's Batman. What the hell are you doing?
They're trying to get... Look, Black Panther stole from this movie.
That's
Panther Man.
the freaking Black Panther shows up with nipples in that suit in the next movie.
If it has to be like cat nipples. It's got...
Oh yeah, he's got
Just
like
rose.
six of them. Yeah, it's like
Oh no.
6 is better than 2.
Where the hell are
that
we?
is like,
What
oh, true. Actually, do bats in themselves have nipples? They're mammals. I guess they gotta, right?
They must do. They
Yeah.
will do, yeah.
I'm gonna have to look up, Clarisse, when you're done with that. Could you look up bat nipples quickly?
But moving on with the minute,
Oh yes, yes.
we cut to the Batmobile in action on the streets. And Niall, I'm sorry, man. Look at that tail fin wobble. Look at that wobble. Yeah, booty bounce. Shake
I'll
your tail
concede.
fin.
You can see the wobble and it looks slightly silly, but this car is still friggin' amazing. we have to get your opinion, Clarisse, because I have been stunned to discover since the beginning of Forever that like I think this is a great Batmobile, and I've been met with slammed doors in my face since of everyone thinking it looks a bit stupid and it just looks like a toy and stuff. And it's like, I don't get this. What do you think of this thing? I think this is amazing.
I honestly think the Batmobile should look like a toy.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't like the Christopher Nolan Batmobile because that's just a car.
It fits
And then
that
you
universe.
just see it. Yeah. Like you just see the Christopher Nolan one, you just see it on the street because people have just bought the Batmobile and you're like, there it is.
Yeah.
But I feel like at least it's like, oh, this car doesn't exist in the real world.
Does it look practical like the last one? That's the real crux of the issue. That fin.
The fin's awesome.
Oh, I can't get over the fin. The last car looked like, oh yeah, Batman could actually use that in a fight. It's still crazy and comic booky.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like compared to this and the Tim Burton one, like his is way better. But
Yes.
I feel like this one is still better than the more recent Batmobiles. I don't even remember what the one in the Snyder one. That was just like another car. I
think that was the worst one.
A car, and you're like, oh, that's just a car. Great.
Yeah.
It's just a rich man's car.
I do remember reactions at the time because like there's a lot of like when the Tumbler was first revealed, I remember people going like, "What the hell? It just looks like it's like a tank. It's not a tank." And so and people are like, "That's not the Batmobile." And then other people have been like, "Oh," and then we see it in the movie. It's like, "No, this makes sense. This is really good." And then I remember like Zack Snyder revealing his Batmobile, and everyone was like, "Yeah, I guess that kind of looks like a Batmobile." Like there was just no excitement about it. It was like, I suppose, yeah, you got to give him a car, and that's you could have worse Batmobiles than that. But this thing, like, look at the fin. Look at the cool blue neon on it. This is awesome.
My problem is I
do
don't
like the
hate it.
neon.
Oh, the
Hey!
I love the neon.
That's specifically in the Bachelor draft, too. Like, they mentioned, the Batmobile is to have a blue-white glow coming out from underneath and stuff. Like, they really wanted that. I don't know what that had to be in the first draft of the first script that carried over into like the actual production design. Like, all right, people really want this blue light, okay? Well,
I like it because it makes you think that inside the Batmobile's like one of those like stretch limos that people order for like bachelorette parties, and it has the cheap bar inside and the horrible light. Like that's what I imagine this Batmobile is like. And there's a little tiny disco ball in the middle.
So really what you're suggesting is we use the Patreon money to fund a stretch limo version of the Batmobile, right?
yes.
Amazing. I would love that.
I wonder now, this is since he had Vicky in the Batmobile 2 movies back. It's like, in case I get any other ladies in here, I need to amp this up. So he's got the little disco ball. He's got a couple of like balls of WKD in there. He's just like
WKD.
Because it's blue and neon.
That's the drink he would have. He's not having like the expensive champagne in that car.
Oh my god, that is not a drink I ever would have thought of for Batman, but it goes with the car.
Yeah,
it does.
This
car could be in Fast and Furious.
This goes with the whole aesthetic of Gotham City, and it's like everyone will be drinking WKD in this town.
So Batminute Tokyo Drift coming soon.
I do have to say, actually, talking of the Greek statues and stuff, as the Batmobiles zoom in down the street, you do see at the side of the road, there's two statues, two friggin' weeping angels over here. The giant statues covering their faces. That's like, they're just like, oh my god, I can't look at this car. They're just like, oh,
yeah. They're on my side. They're not with you now.
Wow, I'm so upset. I wish I had this car.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh.
Makes much more sense. Or they just really got like they tied one on at the giant statue party last night, and they're just really hungover. They're like, oh god, man.
Too many WKDs.
Yeah.
That's a phrase I haven't heard in many years, thank God. I never want to have too many of them again.
But
I never want one of them again.
But I do have to say, like, there's a bit of I guess we'll just have to call it like, you know, just give it to them, or like the speed the Batmobile is going, it's down the street, and then within 2 seconds, it's like up in this bridge. I was like, I don't think that's physically possible for it to get there.
Is time meant to have elapsed, right? Because the camera, it moves up, and it sort of goes, a metal sort of bridge comes in front of the camera, and then we see the Batmobile on the other bridge.
Yeah.
So is that meant to indicate the passage of time? Because it doesn't It doesn't work.
I feel like this movie has one of the worst, like, sense of location. I feel like at no point in this film do you ever actually know where you are, really, and how, like, locations interact with each other. Like, we're at the Wayne Manor, but this is here, and then he needs to drive for this amount of time to get here, and, like, I just, at no point actually knew where I was.
I think that's actually a problem with the whole series. Even the Burton ones, don't hurt me, people, please. I got the same sense in the last two movies. I don't really understand the city.
Yeah, I feel like at least in the Burton ones, you see the outside enough. I feel like there are so few exterior shots in this film. Like, where was the circus?
That's the one thing actually about this Gotham. It's kind of like it's in these shots. Is that like from doing the first two movies, like we had repeated jokes in the fact that like the exterior shots were always like Batman Returns, it's Gotham Square. That's all you ever see, Gotham Square. Like it's the one location where everything happens is in Gotham Square. Yeah. And then the first movie is like there's the Monarch Theater, there's the Flugelheim, they turn a corner. Oh, there's the Flugelheim again, and there's the Monarch Theater. It's like the same streets over and over. This one does seem to have a little bit of like, yeah, there's more streets, and they're very, because those first two movies are quite like wide open spaces. Like Gotham Square had loads of space in it. You know, nice place, loads of space. As the Bruce Wayne and the Joker would say. And then even in the first movie, like you had the park and stuff, and there was a kind of sense like, oh yeah, there's ominous skyscrapers everywhere and stuff. But like they had a wide open space. This one does seem to be there's a lot of tight streets. Like even in the opening scene, it was like, yeah, they're standing in a little tight street surrounded by neon skyscrapers. And this one's like Batman driving down a tight street with huge looming. So this city's almost more like garishly bright, but more claustrophobic in a way, because it's kind of like everything's just very confined in a weird way.
It's got worse. It's built up even more. We see the bat signal as well. Yeah, we pan up, we see the bat signal in the skies. Our hero is needed. But I have a problem with it. With the bat signal in general. I have a problem with it. It kind of only just dawned on me, right? Like, the amount of time it takes Batman to get here, the crime could have, like, escalated. Then Gordon has to explain what's going on. So Batman has to go out of his way to go to the signal, meet with Gordon, usually. Not in this case, that's the twist. Meet with Gordon. Gordon has to explain what's happening. Then he has to go to the actual crime. It could be over by the time he gets there.
Yeah.
It doesn't work. Why isn't the bat signal saying, like, shine it over the crime? The crime's over here. Go over there.
That's a good deterrent as well.
Yeah, because then it's like, I can't swear. Then it's like, oh God, Batman's coming.
You'd have to have it like on the
don't commit crime
on the tallest skyscraper of the like, and you'd have to have like a Heimdall kind of like in Thor, just like who sees all around the city. He's like, oh, it's over there, moving the bat signal over.
I didn't say it was perfect, but this is going to take a lot of time. I'm kind of wanting the old telephone back from the 60s show now.
The old telephone did make a lot more sense, to be fair.
Yeah, it's like, faster.
It cuts to the point.
You don't have to go have a rooftop meeting with someone.
It is
before
weird
you can
as well,
go and solve the crime.
That like they're throughout the whole franchise, we've seen the bat signal a bunch of times, and we know that as a classic thing of Batman meets Commissioner Gordon on the rooftop next to the bat signal. And but the thing is, this would be the first time we would have seen that, because in the first two movies, never happens. It's like,
and you don't see it in this one.
Yeah, it's like, but the thing is, they know that's in the cultural lexicon of like, yeah, Batman, Gordon by the bat signal. That's a thing that everybody knows. But technically, in the first two movies, you never saw that. Like he was, It was only revealed at the end of the first one, and then just Batman just kind of. The Batman Returns when it comes off, he just goes into the city and starts beating up all the Red Triangle gang and stuff. And
Gordon's useless, so
yeah. So it's like it's kind of odd that then the first time they would have done it, it's a fake out. It's not even Gordon that's there.
No, it's Chase in lingerie.
Yeah, it's the fact that you can, like the fact that a woman in lingerie can contact Batman and get him in here is like. That also highlights that this signal's a terrible idea, because
there's no security.
Yeah,
a criminal could lure him in.
There could have been friggin' Deadshot there on a building across the way, just shoots him in the head now, and he's done.
I still don't understand why I'm going to bring this up throughout the movie. Why Chase Meridian doesn't turn out to be evil? She should be the femme fatale kind of a thing. She should be the evil Bond girl. There's always an evil one. Like, Goldeneye, you've got Xenia. It's like, oh, well, she's sexy and Bond wants her, but she's trying to kill him.
Yeah. I think we did talk about in previous minutes, Clarisse, like, would Chase Meridian be more interesting if she was like a Harley Quinn character, but it was with Batman? She was just obsessed with Batman to the point of criminality.
I like the idea that she would be more of a femme fatale because it would explain why it takes her so long to figure out that Batman is Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
Because it would be her needing to hear like that final say. She needs to hear him say, because she knows, but she needs to hear him say it so that, I don't know, the Riddler can swoop in and be like, ha ha ha, you've said it.
Yes.
Because as just a normal woman, those scenes don't make sense.
So any human being.
Yeah, you're like that. He literally just said that he has a second personality that lives in the nighttime. Who do you think that he's talking about?
I will say, like, spoiler for later minutes, but like, you might actually enjoy the novelization a lot more, Clarisse, because midway through the novelization, Chase Meridian does just figure out that Bruce Wayne's Batman. She's like, yeah, of course, yeah. It's very blatantly obvious to her, like, midway through, she's like, I think this might be the same guy. And she is kind of playing a thing of, like, I need him to admit it. I need him to come out and say it. But it's more for, like, psychiatrist reasons. She's like, in order to, like, kind of coax this out of him to make him realize things about himself and stuff, I need him to admit to me that he is Batman and stuff. So it's the novelization does a lot more depth of,
Why didn't they put that in the movie?
I don't think that's even in any of the scripts. I think that's just like the Peter David, the guy who wrote the book, was like, I need to try to beef this thing up somehow. Like,
because she comes across as not a smart woman in this movie.
Well, she is portrayed. It's weird, right? Because she's a doctor, she's meant to be clever, she's meant to be smart. But she is portrayed as just a sexual character, really. But on the other hand, I'm not sure how to take it, because I guess it's a positive that a woman is being portrayed as a sexual being, but not really being ogled by the camera. Like, there's not a lot of pervy shots of it.
I don't know. I feel
know, yeah.
Like, she wants Batman, but we're never led to believe that she's, like, dirty. It doesn't go that route. It's just like,
never
she wants Batman.
Like, straddling on top of him and then licking his face, like some other women the Batman's been involved in.
Yeah, but I feel like that makes sense to me, because Selina Kyle's sexuality was like a full thing that you understood, and you were like, she's into this. In this movie, it's like, I don't really know what her agency is.
Bang Batman.
Yeah, because she
That's
doesn't. Yeah, but I feel like she doesn't really pursue him in the way that a real woman would.
What, meeting on rooftops in lingerie?
Exactly, and it's just like everything she does is so weird, and like I feel like it is all kind of done for the pleasure of like the male gaze.
It is, but then it doesn't go, weirdly, it doesn't go far enough if that's the goal. So it doesn't succeed at anything, really.
It's like that. It's one of these weird characters where I couldn't be like, oh, this is sexist, this is misogynistic, right? Because it's not that, but it's also just one of those characters that I, as a woman, go, I don't know this. I don't recognize this behavior. Which, like, ironically, in Selina Kyle, like, I can see stuff that I recognize. Obviously, it's really exaggerated, but like, there's ideas of obsession, and like, she's really bitter, and that all kind of informs her and her sexuality, and it all comes together in a little package. This, I'm just like, who knows what is driving this woman?
It's such an odd character. It's a missed opportunity, I think. Why can't Batman's love interests be more well-rounded? They are often in comic books and things.
I think one random bit of trivia it's banded about the IMDb trivia section, and I wonder if it is actually the key to unlocking a lot of mysteries about Chase Meridian. Is that apparently in the early stages of development, Joel Schumacher wanted to include Poison Ivy in this movie, and he specifically wanted Nicole Kidman to play the part. And I'm wondering if it's just like, yeah, this was a version of Poison Ivy that he had in his head, and he's like, I can't fit that in the movie, so I'll meld the love interest character and Poison Ivy together, and now we've just got this. He just literally went through the script and just did like a replace every word with every time it said Ivy, he replaced it with Chase. Just
Yep.
Every time it said I love plants, he would say I love psychology.
Again, though, that would have been good as like a lead-in for like maybe the fourth movie. Just be like, yeah, instead of Chase Meridian, it's Pamela Isley. And like, I guess, yeah, you have to change it. Instead of a botanist, she's a psychiatrist now. But like, maybe she's a psychiatrist. Maybe she had a minor in botany or something. Like,
could have just been a hobby, something she was interested in.
Yeah, they have somber, foreboding shots of her like pruning her plants and stuff like that. And they could have done something with it, but
that's getting a bit Twin Peaks though, with Harold and his plants.
Yeah. Well, why not? One thing I will say, actually, and alluding to other things in this, I think how to put this? Batman strikes a pose in this, because when he stands up, and that's where we see the bat nipples in full display. But the pose he's striking is like a classic pose for George Reeves' Superman.
Oh yeah, hands on the hips.
Yeah, that's you see that, you think, oh, it's George Reeves' Superman, and then now Val Kilmer's Batman is doing it. And it's just like, is it because he's just like, oh, I got to impress, like, oh, there's somebody here, I got to look like superhero-y. And that's, I think he's like, oh, yeah. And Val Kilmer could only think of George Reed's Superman. It's like, yeah, but Batman's like, kind of in the shadows. And he's not really, unless this was like, well, we're taking him out of the shadows, so we got to make him brighter and more out there. And somehow George Reeves' Superman got mixed up in that whole conversation. Instead of him just been like, back in the first movie, it was Phantom of the Opera. It was like Vicky Vale trying to see his face even when he had the mask on and him shying away from her and stuff. He was a gothic monster. Now he is transitioned into like, here's the nipples out and I'm poking them forward, baby.
Well, that's the weird thing about their dynamic, is that I don't think it really works that he like is into her but also doesn't want anything to do with her, and it's like their relationship is very unclear. And the fact that he's like, let's go on this date, and she's like, fine, but also I'm in love with Batman, but let's keep dating. But it's just, I don't really get how these two characters actually feel about each other.
Yeah. I'm wondering actually if it might have something to do with the edit, because we didn't mention it, but like in the original, screenplay and stuff, when Bruce got out of the pod, that would have gone into the opening scene of the movie. Like originally the film was due to start with Two-Face escaping from Arkham, deleted scene. Then it would go to Wayne Enterprises meeting Edward Nygma, then sees the bat signal, and then this would have been Batman going to fight Two-Face. And then I think there was like, well, it would have been like 20 minutes into the movie by the time any action happened. So we gotta, rejig this and then get it popping.
That makes sense.
That's fair enough. And like, I love those opening minutes and stuff. And I thought that was like, yeah, that's a good choice. But, so this actual scene was originally slated to come way after like Dick Grayson had been introduced, way after Dick Grayson was living with Bruce. Like this was like maybe 40 minutes like into the movie or something, like 40 minutes after this point, like way into the movie that this would have happened.
Which draft is this from?
This is in the production draft. This is in the Goldsman draft. Like this scene's there, but it's way ahead. And the thing is, there's deleted scenes of Bruce Wayne watching Chase Meridian on television defending Batman and talking about how great Batman is, and he starts going like, "Oh yeah, I think I like this lady and stuff." Mm-hmm. And then he meets her as Bruce Wayne. And then, but at that time, though, if they were shooting it in that way, he's showing up in this scene, like that's now been edited out of context. Whereas in the actors' minds, Val Kilmer's Batman he's interested in Chase Meridian because Chase Meridian is publicly defending Batman.
And that's why he does that pose, because he's trying to look big and strong.
Exactly, yeah. So because of that, all that been removed and the movie been re-edited, I think that's what caused that's why Clarisse, you're sitting going like, what is wrong with these characters? What is their interactions and stuff?
That makes sense.
What idiot put it this way?
Yeah, because it's like they meet, he is not into it. Then she tricks him. He's like, all right.
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense.
Hey, no, we all like that.
I love to be tricked. I love someone to trick me to travel all the way across the city and be like, boo, you thought you were doing your job. It's actually me, sexually available person.
I mean, I know people might actually need your help and might be dying down below, but it was a good trick.
Hey, I'm wearing lingerie.
To be fair, that is a distraction.
Yeah, I will say though, in terms of like people talking about their Chase Meridian throwing herself at Batman here. One thing I've been asking throughout, Clarisse, is that in season 1, I was baffled to find out that people did not regard Jack Nicholson as like a very sexy kind of guy. Where I was raised to believe that Jack Nicholson was regarded as like a real suave, sexy guy, and then my eyes were opened that season. In season 2, I was shocked to find out that people did regard Chris Walken as quite a sexy presence. And now this season, everyone has been unanimous in saying that back in the 90s, Chris O'Donnell was like the hunk to attain.
Yeah, he was.
And do you recall this? I feel like I missed out on some kind of cultural shift here or something.
I think not at the time, but like looking at him, he's a pretty classically. He's very much like a 90s boy band poster boy. Yeah. So that makes sense to me. I thought you were going to say Tommy Lee Jones.
Oh yeah.
Which, like, low key, I think I'm kind of into it. I like a good Tommy Lee Jones.
Oh, that's a first. I'm not going to knock it. I want more
Maybe
of this. We need
not
more
as Harvey Dent, though.
I don't know.
I should clarify, not as Harvey Dent. But, like, I think Tommy Lee Jones has had his moments.
You'd be getting the tenderness and the ruggedness with Two-Face.
That's I see.
Well, not with this Two-Face. He's one note.
Yeah. You get screaming and laughing and then more screaming.
Yeah.
See, I see Tommy Lee Jones and I just think cranky. He just seems like a really cranky guy. So I'm like,
he's probably lovely, but I'm the same. He looks moody. He looks like me.
He's kind of got like, it's not resting bitch face. It's just sort of like resting grouch face or resting Tommy Lee Jones face. So there's this perpetual. He just got going.
He's kind of like Harrison Ford, but one step.
Yes.
One step further.
The same actor.
I guess is why I like him, because like I was always a Harrison Ford person. So Tommy Lee Jones is just like push Harrison Ford a little bit further. Yeah, but I was never into like a Chris O'Donnell type.
Good.
Like one of my first celebrity crushes was Joaquin Phoenix, specifically in Gladiator, which is really concerning.
Yeah. Okay.
Really
I could see
concerning.
Visually why.
Yeah, it wasn't the character, but I just had never. It was my first Joaquin Phoenix movie, and I was like, "Who's that?" But
he's
still.
very striking in that film. I think once I'd watched the movie, I probably would have changed my mind.
I'm kind of curious now, though, because I knew people back in 2008 who really, really fancied Heath Ledger's Joker. Like, not Heath Ledger. Like, they loved the Joker.
No, they're just trying to be weird and goth or something.
But I'm just wondering now, is it like maybe because like I was a bit younger then, so I was hanging out with people who are more open about it. But like, I wonder, is there a generation now of people who are like, oh yeah, Joaquin Phoenix, like Arthur Fleck is just sex on legs or something?
No.
So he does flex a lot in that movie. You see, like, he looks really gaunt and like unappealing to most. Though I imagine to most people, there might be some people who are like, oh yeah, that weird skeletal shoulder thing he does is like really, that's really my jam.
Yeah, I love those ribs poking into me.
I mean, people like Pennywise, and
That's
like not
true.
Bill Skarsgård, just actual Pennywise. So I feel like everyone's just like got their person.
Yeah,
They've
yeah.
got their
People
one
like
crush.
Beetlejuice.
The
Yeah.
thing is, you see from It Part 2, Pennywise has quite a tongue on him, so I can understand the appeal there. Like it's.
Oh no.
Oh dear.
But anyway, shall I reveal the answer to the riddle?
Yeah, I have not been able to figure it out for the life of me.
I
The thing
feel
is,
like I know what it's. I know the category of thing it's going to be, but I don't know the exact thing.
yeah, the thing is, though, that was the best possible segue I could have had. Was what I said last there. It was like, the riddle was, what tastes better than it smells?
Oh, a tongue. A tongue.
Oh,
Tongue, yeah. So there you go. That was a complete accidental segue as well. I was like, I mentioned, like, oh, riddle. Yeah, there you go. The answer was a tongue.
Oh, that's so obvious.
But
That's why I hate riddles. They just anger you.
maybe that's why people like Batman really hates the Riddler. He's like, oh god,
Yeah,
damn
it's
it.
annoying. I think that's the sole reason he does the riddles. Is just to annoy Batman. He just winds him up.
Yeah, they could have had that, like really playing that more. Like he's constantly asking Two-Face riddles, and Two-Face getting angrier and angrier throughout the movie. Then at the end, it's like Two-Face just kills the Riddler. It's like, oh my god, I just had an excuse to shoot him. Like it's all damn day with those riddles. It's like, oh,
Well-
Eddie, can you pass me the TV remote? Well, riddle me this, Harvey. He's like, no, just pass me the damn remote.
Oh, on that wonderful image, we will depart once more.
Oh, actually,
Please,
just quickly though, Clarisse as well, because we'd always ask our guests if they have any history with the movie. Do you have a memory of seeing Batman Forever for the first time? Did you grow up? I know you're obviously worn on your sleeve that you're a Tim Burton lady at heart, but like, did you have any fond memories of? Or again, though, you only discovered Jim Carrey in like 2014, apparently. So,
Which is weird because growing up, Nicole Kidman, was and is my favorite actor. So I don't know. I watched every single other movie she was in, but somehow not Batman Forever.
Oh.
I think I decided to skip it. So no, but now I'm kind of glad that I did skip it because she's not good in this. And I feel like I would have been upset because I have always idolized her so much.
I think you can put half the blame at least on the script and the direction.
Yeah.
She's not given a lot to work with.
She wiggles those eyebrows as much as she can, but that's pretty much all she can do in that role.
I think she's probably doing the best she can with what she's been tasked to do.
That's true, but it's still a low point for her.
Yeah, yeah.
I can't imagine it was very much like someone saying to you, like, do you want to be in a Batman movie? Like, yeah, of course I do. Like, here's your part. Just like, okay, well, I gotta, it's not as if I can come into them while they're trying to make this multi-million-dollar thing with all crazy stunts and stuff and be like, can you bump up this character part of it? I think, like, unfortunately, at this point in the franchise, Chase Meridian would have been so low down on the ladder of concerns for people that you could get away with things like literally editing the coherent character structure out of the movie so you can get the action sequences bumped up to the front and stuff. So,
especially because did they tell her she was going to be Poison Ivy?
I think maybe that was just a fleeting thing that Joel Schumacher had in his head and has mentioned since, but like,
that would have been tragic for her. Like, oh my god, you get to be Poison Ivy. Amazing. What an interesting character, interesting kind of psychology. Yeah, it's like, now you're playing this woman with a rubber fetish. Have fun.
Maybe that was Joel Schumacher. That's how he gets off. He's just like, hey, Billy D. Williams, you thought you were going to play Two-Face? Well, guess what? And hey, Nicole, I said you were playing Poison Ivy? Here, let me introduce you to Dr. Chase Meridian.
Oh no.
Oh, yes, we will depart now anyway into the dark, dark night. Clarisse, one last time, would you like to tell people where they can find you online?
Yes, all my stuff will just be on Twitter. So Clarisse Loughrey on Twitter or at Clarisse Lou.
And come and talk to us as well on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, the website, the Patreon, the TeePublic, all that crap. Just Google it. We're everywhere. But the most important thing, right? We need to toss the coin, Niall. Nah, I was saving it. I thought a Friday thing will be better. We're going to toss the coin. Heads or tails, Clarisse? If you get it wrong, basically we have to murder you. And you're not allowed back because you're dead.
Right.
Did you want heads or tails? Will you survive?
We are very prejudiced against ghosts coming on the show unless they're Sir Patrick Moore.
Right. I've done it this way. I've done it this way, Niall, so I no longer have to pretend and cheat for half the week.
Okay.
So here we go. Oh, it's heads. You survive. You get to live another day.
Ooh. Yes.
Yes. So do check out the Twitter account now because it's going to continue.
Yeah.
So do that.
I would have been really upset too because knowing like we're recording this on Halloween Eve, it's like, oh, we can't rob Clarisse of Halloween. She'd be devastated.
Yeah, but I get to experience Halloween as a ghost, which must be even
from the
more
other
fun.
side of the curtain.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Perfect.
That's the one thing to look forward to when we're all gone. Well, not all of us. That would be depressing. Then you're all ghosts. Then it's not spooky.
I can't wait to be a ghost.
That would be cool. I want to haunt something really boring. I want to haunt, like, a petrol station.
I don't know, John, because that way you're just like Alan Partridge, just like knocking about a petrol station. Is that what you're going
what's
for? You
wrong
just
with
secretly
that?
want to be Alan Partridge?
I want to be Alan Partridge. I thought that was pretty clear by now.
Next time, a bat booty call. A signal false flags a franchise first as a sprightly shrink tries to obey her thirst. But while the chase is on for a psychiatrist, can our passive paladin give this pectora perusing Pepe Le Pew a miss? Find out next week. Same Bat Pod, different Bat Minute.
Ba-da-da, ba-da-da-da-da.